You won't be exploited, but people will likely to consider you as nice person. Hello, this is Min, and today I will talk about how I deal with people. As long as we are living in this world, communicating and dealing with people on a daily basis is a must. But many people, including myself, struggles to effectively communicate with others. So for today, I will talk about how to deal with people efficiently and effectively in a way that you get what you want and people won't take advantages of you. Keep in mind that this video is not about communication skills, but more of social interaction we form on a daily basis. So let's get started. If you major in economics, then I'm sure that you are familiar with the game theory, right? Even if you're not, don't worry, I will walk you through. Game theory is a study of mathematical models of strategic interaction among rational decision makers. It's kind of hard to understand, right? So let's talk about one example of a game analyzed in a game theory called Prisoner's Dilemma. I will explain the rules of this game, okay? Two members of a criminal gang are arrested and imprisoned. Each prisoner is in solitary confinement with no means of communicating with the other. Prosecutor lacks sufficient evidence to convict the pair on the principal charge, but they have enough to convict both on a lesser charge. Simultaneously, the prosecutor offers each prisoner a bargain. Each prisoner is given the opportunity either to betray the other by testifying that the other committed the crime or to cooperate with the other by remaining silent. The possible outcomes are like following. So if A and B betray each other, each of them serves 2 years in prison. If A betrays but B remains silent, A will be set free and B will serve 3 years in prison and vice versa. If A and B both remain silent, both of them will serve only 1 year in prison on the lesser charge. It is implied that the prisoners will have no opportunity to reward or punish their partner other than the prison sentences they get, and that their decision will not affect their reputation in the future. Because betraying a partner offers a greater rewards than cooperating with them, all purely rational self-interested prisoners will betray the other, meaning the only possible outcome for two purely rational prisoners is for them to betray each other. In reality, humans display a systematic bias towards cooperative behavior in this and similar games despite what is predicted by the simple models of rational, self-interested action. In 1980, Robert Axelrod, the professor of political science at the University of Michigan, held a tournament of various strategies for the prisoner's dilemma. He invited a number of well-known game theorists to submit strategies to be run by computers. In the tournament, programs played games against each other and themselves repeatedly. And amongst all the strategies submitted, one strategy created an outstanding result. The strategy called tit for tat. Tit for tat is an English saying meaning equivalent retaliation. I guess you can call it like eye for an eye. So the strategy of the tit for tat is as follows. Always cooperate at first. Afterwards, it will repeat the opponent's previous move. It is quite simple, right? Tit for tat's character is highlighted by the following traits: preemptive cooperation and trust, immediate retaliation for betrayal, active forgiveness, and high strategic clarity. Numerous strategies such as always defect, always cooperate, and random cooperate were tested in this tournament, but all of them had shortcomings. For the case of always defects, this strategy defects on every turn. This is what game theory advocates. It is the safest strategy since it cannot be taken advantage of, right? However, it misses a chance to gain larger payoffs by cooperating with an opponent who is ready to cooperate. Real-world application of this strategy would be conman, swindler, thief, pirate, and so on. They try to find a way to strip people on their first encounter. Always cooperate. This strategy does very well when matched against itself. However, if the opponent chooses to defect, then this strategy will do badly. If a person in the real world behaves as such, being nice all the time, then if they were to meet someone as nice as they are, then it will create mutually beneficial results at all times. But if they meet someone with malignant intention from the beginning, then they will be completely manipulated by the other with bad intentions until the end. And there's random strategy. Random strategy cooperates 50% of the time. If a person in the real world acts as such, then they would be regarded as just crazy person. Such person would look like a clown with their intention impossible to be understood because there is no intentions. This may be quite difficult to understand at first, but I will explain how I apply this theory in my daily life. Just as how tit for tat do, I always cooperate at first, showing people I am a nice and trustworthy person, such as buying them a coffee, giving them compliments, and so on. If the person buys me a coffee or or a meal on his next chance, then I make sure to pay them back on the next chance I get. I at least be sure to express my sincere gratitude. On the other hand, if the person do not properly say thank you or do not buy me a coffee or something of equal value in return, then I disconnect with the person permanently. If the person who let me down is someone I have to meet on a daily basis, such as fellow worker, then I make sure to let them know about their unfavorable behavior. It's dangerous to retaliate with negative behaviors because they might not have intended on doing such action, right? After you tell them about their wrong behaviors, they can choose to cooperate with you out of guilty feelings or empathy, or they can choose to retaliate again out of pride. Once they choose to make their actions, then you just repeat that person's move consequently. If you repeat this method of social interactions with the others, they will know that you are a clear, nice, provocative, and forgiving person. People won't take you for granted or use you for their own benefit because you would retaliate. People will know you are generous and forgiving because any past negative actions would be disregarded because you simply repeat the previous action. People will know you as someone who can speak for yourself and not someone who can be exploited. However, the success of the tit-for-tat strategy is proven only in the world of computer, where humanly mistakes do not exist. For this reason, I will tell you another variation, tit-for-tat. This strategy goes as follows. Always cooperate at first. Afterwards, it will repeat the opponent's previous move. If the opponent chooses to retaliate, then forgive for once and choose to cooperate. If the opponent defects again, then retaliate. If the opponent chooses to cooperate this time, then cooperate just the same. In the real world, people sometimes make mistakes. They might not keep their promise due to unfortunate reasons. They might not buy you a dinner bag because they have to pay the medical bills for someone important. You never know, right? So the strategy tells you to show mercy for one time. However, if the other person shows you ill-intended behavior for multiple times, then you must retaliate to show that you cannot be taken advantages of. This is really complicated, right? As a result of evolution, tit-for-tat or the prisoner's dilemma in general is routinely observed in almost every human and natural environment we can observe today. One example of this is the Cold War during the 20th century. The theoretical versatility of this game theory is enormously wide, and it is a vast topic that can be applied in the field of economics, but it also triggers great attention in the field of biology and evolution. Richard Dawkins is also interested in tit-for-tat because selfish gene can be an answer to how it can spontaneously exhibit altruism. I am not telling you that this is the best methods to deal with people. It might be better to show mercy at all times with the belief that people are genuinely good by nature and that you can convince them to make a better and nicer behavior. But when you're living in the society, especially in city area where you need to make multiple social interactions, it's very difficult to have a blind faith in others and altering others to make our best behavior. So this method of tit-for-tat, in my opinion, is one of the most efficient ways to show you are a clear, nice, and forgiving person. By doing so, you won't be exploited, but people will likely to consider you as nice person. Alright, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for listening to these long topics, but I only covered a small amount of this vast hypothesis of the game theory or the prisoner's dilemma. If you want to learn more, you can do more research in Google about prisoner's dilemma and its real-world application. Okay, thank you so much for watching today, and I'll be back with more videos.